The most significant acts, congressional acts and laws dealing with Indian people were initially, they were made law in the 19th century. Probably the most significant one is the Dawes Act in 1888, 1887, 1888, when the act was written and passed by Congress. That is without a doubt one of the biggest laws that has ever affected Indian people for a number of different reasons. Blood quantum also came about because of the Dawes Act. Before that, Indian people were not considered authentic because of their blood. You know, there was a tribalism, and there was an understanding, there was an adoption, and there was a dynamic and fluid nature of tribal communities. And with the Dawes Act, the government came in and said, no, you can't say who's a member of your tribe anymore. There's something else that's going to determine that, and that's going to be something that we can quantify, and that's going to be blood. If you ask any Indian in Montana, what's your blood quantum, you know, many of them will know right off the bat what it is, because that's something that they've been brought up with. But if you ask them, when did Indians first start quantifying blood? You know, maybe not too many of them would know that it began with the Dawes Act. And so those are real fundamental important things that we need to understand in federal Indian policy. I guess the notion and the driving force behind the Dawes Act was this notion that Indian people, through the federal Indian policy, the Indian people could become like white people, like civilized, and that they could enter into the mainstream economy. Then they could find new lives with a new identity that wasn't Indian, but was this new thing that they had to latch onto. And so that was the driving force behind the Dawes Act. That was what, you know, the different laws were trying to do when they divided up the land, when they changed the names, when they created the blood quantum. And so many of those things we still have and have not been reversed, and probably there's a good chance we might not ever see them reversed, like blood quantum. That's something that would be very difficult to try and get rid of. It's hard to imagine that. I think Indian people themselves would have a difficult time imagining how we would function without it.